Hey, it's Mark Strigl. We have a legendary guy joining me today for a chat here on YouTube. I am thrilled to be talking with guitarist Mark Kendall from the band Great White. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Mark.
Thank you for being here, and thanks for bringing Great White back to M3, the rock
Yeah,
festival that takes place in Columbia, Maryland every year, celebrating its
yeah.
Sweet 16. I've seen you guys numerous times at M3, and any thoughts you can share about this festival that has been going on again for 16 years now? The music, the community, any M3 memories?
Yeah, I mean, we the fans who we pretty much grew up with, we hear a lot of stories, about when they saw us at first, and that seems to happen a lot because we mingle a little bit more than we normally would. We seem to get around the fans a lot more. They have a lot of meet and greets, and so that's really cool. And to see some of the bands that maybe we never played with back in the day is kind of cool because you get to meet people you've kind of you respected all these years, but you never met them. So that's kind of yeah, it's just kind of fun to get together and you know just to see people are still doing this is kind of cool too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And just as a longtime fan of Great White, it's always great to have you guys there. You'll be playing on Sunday, May 4th. Also playing that day, Ace Frehley, A Kiss, Warrant, Spread Eagle, Lita Ford, Vixen, and the partial Rat reunion with Warren DeMartini and Stephen Pearcy. So it's going to be a great Sunday and a great weekend. David Lee Roth is playing, Sebastian Bach. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's
yeah,
talk about the current status of Great White. You've been working with, I guess he's not all that new anymore, but a younger singer in recent years. Can you tell us
yeah,
about him and what is going on with him? I saw him last time you played M3. He was with you, and it sounded
yeah,
great.
yeah. He just sings perfect every night. Yeah, he is younger than us. I don't know. Nothing seems to overwhelm him. I mean, he's grateful for everything. He digs it, but it's not like he goes, "Oh my God, this is such a big show," or you know what I mean. He
Right.
just goes out and handles it and sings perfect all the time. We've been writing a lot. We're going to go in the studio
Tell us
here
his
pretty
name.
quick.
Tell the viewers his
Brett,
Brett.
yeah,
Brett Carl.
Brett, yeah, Brett Carlisle. He's from Alabama. He came as a fill-in, and then he was so good that we decided to stick with it because it was the best. We auditioned about three people, and he was the one that paid the most attention. We sent a tape out and stripped the vocals off the live tape, and I didn't know how much he killed the first show in Las Vegas. I had no idea until after I got off stage and was approached by everybody that was flipping out until I saw it on YouTube, cell phone videos of Stick It and stuff like that. I go, the dude sang perfect. My headphones were kind of low on his vocal that night,
Okay.
and I didn't hassle doing the traffic cop thing, telling the monitor guy to do this and that. I just played, and so I didn't realize how good he sang. But he's a real good guy. He's real close to to all the big songs and everything. But also, I want to, since he's so good, I want to get him on new music
Well, I
because,
want to circle back to that, but
no,
Great White is still, you guys still have so many classic members in the band. Can you run down, I mean, the current
yeah,
lineup of who's in Great
yeah,
White, which is a lot of the classic
yeah,
guys like yourself?
yeah. Well, Michael Lardy, he actually worked at the studio when we did our very first album with Michael Wagner. He was a staff guy that was doing engineer, and come to find out, he played keyboards and played rhythm guitar and all this stuff. And I didn't pay that much attention to that until we did our second album, and we wanted to put keyboards on something. He goes, "Oh, I can do that," and and then he goes, and then we found out he played rhythm guitar. We go, what'd be cool is just so we sound like the record. If you played like behind a curtain or something, just played the rhythm. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then he did so that way, because when you overdub, when you have rhythm and you're one guitar band, it's emptier live because you're just doing the solo. There's no rhythm guitar.
Sure.
So I just thought it would sound, we'll make it sound just like the record. But anyways, then we got, you know, girls started asking about the guy, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So we got him a stage, like, one of those deals where you kind of put him somewhere
Right.
because we liked the way it looked out front. And pretty soon he was off that stage and out there with us. You know, and then we made him a full-time member. Audie, the drummer,
Audie Despro, great drummer.
Audie Desbro, he replaced our very first drummer after the first album. So he came in about 84, a long time ago. So so we played on every record but the first one. They played on everything we've ever done except for the first one. So we got three guys that the bass players have always been like, it's like the Spinal Tap issue where they just
Yeah.
disappear or something.
And is it Scott still playing bass with you? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
he's been
16
there.
years,
It's been like going, what, 15 years for him already, right?
16. Yeah, I think it's 15 or 16 years. So he's a real solid dude. Plays bass like Satan. I mean, the guy, he sits in with people like that, these jazz type dudes. Like he was on Kimmel. He played with Frank Stallone. These
Oh,
guys,
wow.
they got horn sections and all this stuff, and he's out there, doing the upper echelon jazz type stuff. So he can play like that, but he lays it down for Great White.
Very cool. And you mentioned
Yeah,
potentially new music with Brett doing
yeah.
the vocals. What's the status of that? Are you writing? Are you currently recording? Or where are we at with new Great
We've
White?
recorded about 7 songs on a demo that Brett and I have recorded at Tracy G's. He's a buddy of mine that used to be in Dio, and he was in a band called World War III with Vinny Appice and Jimmy Bain. But anyways, we've been friends since we were teenagers, and his studio is like a little bit more upgrade than mine. I have to always call an extra guy in here, and it's just a pain in the butt. So I just go down to his house and just throw down ideas so I can present the band songs with vocals, and I just play the bass and do a drum machine thing and go check the song out. Instead of going up to him and go, hey, check this riff out on an acoustic, I give them the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that, but we're talking about releasing like a song and a video and maybe two other songs. We talked about doing it that way. Recording a bunch of songs, but not really. Since the way things are today,
You don't
just so
necessarily have to release them all at once. You can kind of drop them one
yeah, we
time
don't have
in.
to bombard people with 15 songs. We can put out a song and a video and go, hey, what do you think of this? And then we'll come with some other ones, later. But so I don't know that, the industry has changed so drastically that we just want, just like in my heyday, I just want to know what you think. You know what I mean? So I'm the same way today. I want to put out a song and get feedback. Tell me if you like it or if you don't like it. You know what I mean?
Cool. Well,
And
we
so
look
that,
forward to that. Any idea when we might hear a new tune?
yeah, we're gonna have a meeting at this show we're doing day after tomorrow, and get some studio time and go in and do it for real.
Okay.
We're looking at studios right now.
So possibly sooner than later.
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
want to get this out for sure.
Now I have to slip into my fanboy mode and go back to my youth, which you provided the soundtrack for. First time I saw Great White was opening for Whitesnake, and I
Oh,
was I
okay.
was uh, I was getting into you guys at that point. But after I saw you live, and no disrespect to David Coverdale and his band that night, but you guys stole the show. You were an extremely hard act to follow that night. I mean, I have memories of, you playing Rock Me and the spotlights going over to you for the solo. It was just so electrifying.
Yeah.
Memories of being on that tour where some people thought you really gave Whitesnake a run for their money.
Well, David Coverdale was gracious enough to give us that tour. And our very first tour was with Whitesnake in 1983 in the UK. A different band behind him, but I think they had John Sykes in the band and Cozy Powell and some other guys. So when we had kind of a hit going with Rock Me, it was a great time to be on a tour like that because the buzz on Whitesnake was so awesome. And they treated us so good. It made us feel like it was okay to go up there and, kick maximum ass and not get in
Yeah.
trouble, you know.
Yeah.
So they wanted us to do well. So I'm glad you liked the show because we were really trying to impress people who wanted to play well and have a good night. Some bands want the opening acts to not do good,
Right.
but a lot of them, like Judas Priest, Scorpions, bands like that, they want the whole night to be good. They're not intimidated by us.
Right.
So most of the bands like Priest took us under their wing. Scorpions were the same way. They wanted us to go out there and handle it, and we're real personable. So we kind of learned from that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to be headliners, you gotta, you know, go out there and not just be entertaining. You got to try to impress people, I guess,
Yeah. Another question I wanted to ask you about was you shared a manager with Guns N' Roses, and this would have been the real early days for you guys and Guns N' Roses. Any memories of that band real early
Yeah.
on? Seeing
Yeah.
them, maybe meeting them before they were signed, when your manager also took them on.
Oh, yeah. Um, yeah, we were around them, not a ton, but we were around them. I remember giving Izzy a ride to his house, and or I think it was like a hotel in Hollywood. One time they were jamming in a place where we jammed in LA, rehearsed, and um, I did a charity event with Slash playing. We did kind of what became kind of a legendary show uh, at the Ritz in New York with them, with the MTVs there and everything. And well, we weren't jealous that he decided to manage them as well. We still got his full attention. Um, we had sold, I think, somewhere close to 2 million at the time and he asked us to open for him, and we go, no problem, yeah, because we were on the Whitesnake tour, so we go, oh, we can get out here early and go to bed or something.
Right.
But we go, yeah, we'll open. We both play in an hour. I mean, it's not a big deal. But the buzz in New York was so huge on those guys
Yeah.
because Niven had gone back to the radio with Jungle again. He talked Geffen into it because Geffen wanted to end that album at 250. They were
Okay.
still 250,000. They wanted to stop and go do something new. And he goes, no, you're missing it. We gotta put Jungle back to the radio. I'll take Slash out with his Les Paul, and we'll sign Les Pauls for the biggest stations in the country. And look what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So can
And the
you imagine?
manager we were speaking about, you just mentioned him, Alan.
Alan Niven.
Yeah.
Alan Niven. Yeah,
Niven.
brilliant, brilliant guy. Brilliant.
Once bitten, twice shy. Big song for you guys. I always found it
Yeah.
interesting, and any insight you have on this would be great. That okay, so that was a cover song that you guys had a big
Right.
hit with, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
album before that was called Once Bitten. The album that was
Yeah.
on was called
Yeah.
Twice Shy. Uh, I always found that one song included both of those album titles in it, and it wasn't really even your song. I mean, initially you made it your own song, but was the Once Bitten album, did that title of that album come from this song that you would cover in the future?
No, in fact, we didn't even really think about calling that. the next album, Twice Shy, until later. And Izzy, we were done with the album. We were completely finished recording. And Izzy came to Alan, Izzy from Stradlin from Guns N' Roses, said, "Hey, listen to this song, Once Bitten, Twice Shy." And Niven loved the lyrics. He just said, it's about being on the road. It's like, because we went home just for a minute and then went right back on tour. We were just touring all the time. So it was a road song, and he talked about us doing it. But when Izzy gave him that song to listen to, we weren't there. Niven then brought the song to us, and we thought it was okay. We'll do it. Maybe put our own spin on it a little bit, and so that's how that happened. But it wasn't by design. It just happened kind of randomly. But the funny coincidence was we had met Ian Hunter twice, but had nothing to do with doing the song. In 1984, our sound man was friends with Ian Hunter. We went by his house and borrowed his drum riser out of his backyard for
Wow.
that tour. We used his drum riser because he wasn't doing nothing. Somehow he had a drum riser in his backyard. But then we'd met him again, like later on. He was in on our bus, but hadn't absolutely. I had no clue about that song. I'd never heard it in my life, and I heard it was never hit. Had we been desperate for to do a cover song or anything like that, we would get a hit and try to put our own spin on it, not get a song that's totally unknown,
Right.
you know. So, but like I said, we thought it was okay, and when it was done, we thought it sounded great, and but we liked other songs on the album too. It's just the record company picked that song.
Gotcha.
It was their decision.
And when you said he suggested that you guys cover it, were you talking about Izzy? He was the guy who said, "Hey,
No,
great white."
Alan, when
Alan.
he
Okay.
heard the song, he loved the lyrics. He just
Right.
thought the lyrics are the greatest, and they're really good lyrics. And Ian Hunter's brilliant. Um, so I think that's what kind of hooked him, and the fans related to it because once bitten, twice shy. You can relate to a lot of different things, and somehow it hit a nerve out there, and took on a life of its own. I mean, it was going for like 7 months. I mean, that single.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
It
just
was all,
everywhere. It
and
was
the
crazy.
video just constantly on MTV. You guys did a
Yeah,
great job with that song. Um, Jack Russell, the vocalist, amazing voice. We lost him last year.
yeah,
Obviously, you had not worked with him in quite some time. I think what,
right.
going back to 2009 or something. Um,
Yeah, 2010, I believe, something like that. Yeah.
2010. Okay. The Grammy Awards it does this package every year called In Memoriam, where they show people who have
Uh
passed on in the last year. And I got to tell you, for as many albums as you guys sold, and how important Great White's music is to people like me, I found it offensive that he was left out of that In Memoriam package. Um,
huh.
any thoughts from you on that? Because there other people
Awful.
were left out too. John Sykes, for example, Paul Diano of Maiden.
I didn't watch it, but I've read on the internet that he wasn't mentioned. Yeah, real slap in the face. I hated that. Um, Jack and I were connected at the hip for our whole career. There was no hatred or anything. It was just addictions and things like that just happened. I don't even take that personal. It was just we wanted him to get better. Um, and I did a dedication to him live at a show. Just I just wanted people to know that we were brothers. Um, he had the greatest voice, man. The guy, I mean, max talent. And I had an opportunity to go on Eddie Trunk when we did this mountain up on the mountain gig or whatever.
Yeah,
And we got to be on his show for an hour and speak about Jack because I wanted to share stories because we had a lot of, we had so much time together. And literally, I mean, I met him when I was 20 years old. He was only 17, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So we had all that history, all those records, all those tours, and it was a shame to lose him so early. But this was never personal why we're not together, because I always hear the fans, because they don't, I guess they don't understand. Why don't we patch it up? They would say.
Yeah.
So we've never even argued. I mean, literally, we maybe had two arguments our whole career. You know what I
Wow.
mean? This had everything to do with, and I'm personally an alcoholic also. I mean, I got sober in 2008, but I'm not. It just he kind of couldn't overcome his demons, but he's not here to defend himself. So I don't like to get negative with when I speak about him. Uh, yeah,
And you guys
tough
made
stuff,
magic
man.
together. I mean, you did on the
We did.
stage,
We did
in the
magic,
recording
man.
studio, and that magic will live on because we have those recordings with his great voice and
Awesome.
just
Yeah,
amazing
gonna
stuff
live
that
on
you did.
forever, man. The guy, he was so special in the sense. Yeah, he was in playing in Hollywood when he was 16 years old in some like band that played like Yes, like progressive, out there just singing.
Yeah.
Man, he could sing anything. He could sound like a chick singing a beautiful ballad or rock super hard. I mean, yeah, and really, we had so many uh, special moments because we used to pretend like we had made it. I mean, we're like kids, like pretending this is like the law of attraction stuff,
Right.
like pretending to do interviews on cassette players. Like, how long the band been together?
Right.
And
Wow.
we were just like, we didn't even have a bass player yet.
Yeah.
And we used to pretend like we were playing the Forum at his parents' house in the living room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all these things happen. That's what makes it so surreal and a blessing and all that. So it just a lot of special times. And his parents were amazing. He had the greatest mom and dad.
Yeah. Well, he will be missed, absolutely. And I did want to
Yeah.
talk about one other guy that is no longer with us, who you had a history with. I don't know if some people might not know this, some people do. Jani Lane of Warrant. He
Yeah.
toured with you as the
Yeah.
singer of Great White. Now, this,
Yeah.
if my math is correct, this is after you got sober, but
Yeah.
I don't think he was. Maybe he was. I don't know what his
He
situation
was,
was.
when he was out with us, he was dead sober.
Really?
He,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, he was on time every show singing perfect. He had his wife out with him. He looked better than he had looked for a long time. And I worked with him on a daily basis. I've been working with alcoholics for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And he was doing great. I sent him daily meditation and prayers.
Yeah.
And he would call me almost every day and said, "Man, this one hit home." And
Wow.
his biggest demon was not being busy.
Okay.
That's when he heard the voices.
Yeah.
And but as long as he was busy going, everything was cool. And to have that support from his wife and stuff was helpful. It was just he had some downtime, and I hadn't heard from him for a couple of days, which was really unusual. And he went off and did what he did, and it was fatal. But I went to his memorial because I kind of wanted people to know, in case they didn't, that he wanted to be sober more than anything. It just somehow, people have difficulty with that demon, that just makes them do the wrong thing. And
Wow.
that's all it was. But he really wanted to be sober. And I wanted people to hear that.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yeah, that's it's important that they hear that, and it's important that we always remember these guys like Janie and Jack, who just enhanced my life as a fan. I mean, and I'm so glad that Great White is still out there playing all those classic
Yeah.
tunes for us. We're going to see you at the M3 Rock Festival in Columbia,
Oh yeah.
Maryland. A great weekend, May 2nd through the 4th. You guys play on the 4th, which again will be a great night. Not only Great White, Warrant is going to play. We're gonna see Ace Frehley, a Kiss, a couple of the guys in Rat doing tunes from that band. Vixen, Lita
I look
Ford.
forward to that because I haven't seen Warren for a long time. We used to hang out a lot. We toured
Cool.
with Rhett before. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
haven't seen him for a long time. I'm really looking forward. That's what I mean. M3, it's a joy to see all our peers and hang out a little bit, because we're kind of past the egos,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
the ego thing. Yeah, we're just like, hey, dude, right on, man. What's up?
Random question, and then I'm gonna wrap the interview up here. Psycho City
Yeah,
album from 1992, where you just do some incredible bluesy rockin' solos on that.
yeah.
Maybe someday. I don't know if you remember that tune. Your solo on
Oh
that
yeah,
just blows
yeah.
me away. It's so good. It's an album I feel like I don't know, for whatever reason, it never really broke through like
Right.
some of the other ones. But when you
Yeah,
go back and listen to it nowadays, which I did recently, knowing I was going to talk to you,
yeah,
that's a solid release. Any thoughts on that album and
yeah.
maybe why it didn't
Well,
cut
a
through
friend
like
of
I think
mine,
it should have?
a friend of mine is he he can't carry a tune in a bucket. I mean, the guy's tone deaf, but he's picked the singles like every record. I bring it when it's in, done but not out yet, and he always picks the singles. I don't know how he does it, but he listened to Psycho City recently and said, "This is your best effort ever." It's the greatest. One thing, the energy on that album is because when you go to the same studio like every album and kind of know what's going to happen before it happens, you can tend to maybe tinge on going through the motions a little bit. But on that album, we went out to Santa Ynez in California on a ranch and recorded in a house on a mobile truck and stuff. And it was just the energy was different, and we're real up for it. And yeah, there's some great moments on that album. Good energy. I wrote a song on a bed there uh, that Niven heard from across the hall. He goes, "What is that?" And I was just working on this thing. He goes, "Let's put it on tape. Let's get it up. Let's get going. Yeah,
Yeah.
just show it to the guys." So it was fun in that way. Things happening kind of randomly, not being afraid to try things. So yeah, we our bass player had quit because he was actually a guitar player, Tony Montana, who played on two records. He played on Twice Shy and then Hooked, but his heart lied with the guitar.
Okay.
So we got Dave Spitz to play bass, and that guy was an animal on bass.
Right, right.
Dave Spitz, his brother Danny Spitz is in Anthrax.
He used to be in
He's
Anthrax,
a
played on those
guitar
classic
player.
albums.
His
Yeah.
brother plays bass, and I'm telling you, that dude is really kick ass on
And did
bass,
he play
man.
with Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath for a while?
I
Like,
think so for
yeah,
a
I think
minute.
he did.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
played did that. He was. I don't know what band he was in. He told me a band, and I had heard of it, but I can't remember what it was. He's a lawyer now, but
Oh yeah. Wow.
yeah, yeah, he really. I mean, that guy throws down on bass. He's a bass fan. Get me?
Okay.
Like he knows the name of the bass player, like in Iron Butterfly. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like one of those dudes. Like he wouldn't even know how to play a chord on a guitar. I was really impressed by Dave Spitz, man. He was cool. So
Yeah.
that also, when you bring in somebody, it adds energy that's different, because you're hanging out with somebody that you don't normally. So that kind of brings, I don't know, kind of an up feel to the atmosphere.
Yeah. It's a different element, and creatively you bounce off one another and stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for
great,
sure.
great album, Psycho City. If anyone's watching this and they haven't heard that album, it's worth going back and discovering that. Such great playing by you and the band on that. Mark, it's been an honor talking to you, longtime fan, and looking forward to hopefully saying hi in person at M3.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If I see him, man, I'll come up and we'll hang out for a bit.
I will see you there. Thank you.
Okay, Mark.